Hello and welcome. Let's see if Crone and Cook have been lying to us. I was looking at the inscriptions on the Islamic Awareness website and I saw this. Interestingly, Crone and Cook chose to ignore this inscription only to conclude that the word Islam was used only in the 8th century. The obvious thing is that even if this claim is correct, which it isn't, and we're going to see that in a moment, that would only be 691, pushing the claim from Crone and Cook from the 8th century to the end of the 7th century. There would still be a gap of 60 or 70 years that would be unaccounted for. When we look at the inscription, this is the word that claims to say Islam. However, in order to say Islam, you need an aleph, and there is no aleph at the beginning of the word. See? No aleph in here. So this could not be read as Islam because there is no aleph. It is more likely to be something like Salam. Therefore, this is not talking about the people of Islam, but the people of Salam, the people of peace, something like that. We will not blame them for this because they seem to have copied their data from the History of Islam website. They should have done their due diligence, but no big deal. What is interesting is that it doesn't look like that's the word that appears on the inscription. Let's take a look. I have enhanced the image the best I could using AI, and this is the word that appears. As you can see, it starts with a different symbol. Before that sort of round or square symbol, there seems to be something else, although it is most likely nothing but a shadow from the enhanced picture. Otherwise, they would have started writing very close to the margin, and it doesn't seem to be the case. So there is one consonant before the S. That starting consonant looks a lot like a meme. If anybody watching thinks that is a different consonant, please let me know in the comment sections below. Of course, starting with a meme, it sounds a lot like Muslim. It would just sound a little bit odd, because it would render something like the religion of Muslim, perhaps the religion of submission. They would simply have called it the religion of Islam, and it doesn't say Islam. If the starting consonant is in fact a meme, then the word would be something like Masalam, something like a state of peace. So instead of talking about the people of Islam, it would be talking about the people of the state of peace, whatever it may be. Perhaps they meant the people of Shalom. Perhaps it was a reference to do with the Jews. Perhaps it was a reference to the Christians, the turn the other cheek sort of thing. In any case, the statement of Crone and Cook seems solid. They did not include this particular inscription because it actually doesn't say Islam. The reason why all of this looks as though it is speaking about Islam is quite simple. It starts with the Bismillah, it talks about Muhammad, it says things that we are very familiar to finding in the Quran and in their traditions. Therefore, we start with the Quran, we look at the inscription, and we read the contemporary meaning of those words into any inscriptions like this, even though that is not the case. In fact, this inscription works very well with John of Damascus. When we think about it, this inscription may be a clue of a different sort. John of Damascus writes in his Heresy of the Ishmaelites a number of things of a lot of importance. He does not call these people who follow a false prophet called Muhammad Muslims. He does not mention Islam. He calls them Ishmaelites, Agarines, and Saracens, but not Muslims. This inscription seems to be talking about the Muhammad of the standard Islamic narrative, but from a time before the term Muslim or Islam were coined. But the myth of a prophet called Muhammad has begun to appear. That is in fact compatible with the works of John of Damascus. Interestingly enough, this inscription mentions the full Shahada. And on a previous video, we discussed who is he who does not have a partner. This sounds very much like a myth of an actual prophet going around who was the apostle of the one true God was starting to emerge. But that story about an apostle, a servant, it was yet to be changed, as the Sunnah and the Sirah were not created until much later. So, what do you think about all of this? Do you have any other ideas about this inscription? Let us know in the comment section below. See you soon!